Good morning, my artsy friends. Welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday morning live here on the Thrifty Apprentice YouTube channel. My name is Ken Johnson. I am your resident Thrifty Apprentice, and as usual, I am elated to be in your cyber presence again. We have quite an action-packed live today. It's not going to be super long, but it is going to be full of just kind of relevant information to the channel, as well as jumping into swatching out a brand new set of professional watercolors. And I'm super excited. We're going to be looking at the Schmincke or the Horadam Schmincke and Company professional watercolors. If you remember, not too long ago, I had the privilege of testing. Um, Swatching, testing, and reviewing the Schmincke Academy paints, and I was really impressed with those paints for those to be student grade. So I can just imagine what the professional paints are going to be like. So let's start off with a recapping. We're going to back up a week. If you missed it, here are the things that you can now find either as a live or as a pre-recorded video on the YouTube channel. Starting out with last Monday, we did a review of the Faber-Castell 24 count of Aberdeen watercolor pencils. That'll be under the live playlist, or you can just back up a couple of videos on the channel and find it. Behind last week's live, we had a pre-recorded video come out on this past Wednesday, which was a review of the Hippie Crafter 72 count of watercolor pencils. Two completely different ball games with those watercolor pencils, one being professional, one being student budget. So definitely go check those out if you missed them. And then, of course, this past Friday, we had a watercolor paint review where we took a look, excuse me, at the Milian Hitoto tubular watercolor set, 24 12 milliliter tubes. And I did have quite a bit to say about these. So if you missed any of those reviews, they are all currently available on the YouTube channel for you to catch in replay. So definitely go check those out. Don't hesitate to drop comments in the comment section to let me know what you think about the content discussed in those videos. Don't forget to sprinkle a little love and like them. And hey, if you like what's going on in them and you feel that someone else needs to see it, please feel free to share those videos. All right. So, excuse me, that leads us up to today. So let's talk about, well, actually, no, it doesn't lead us up to today. We also have to talk about yesterday. Yesterday was the very first Watercolor Sunday Fun Day Live for the creation station level of the Thrifty Apprentice Patreon art community. Now, it just so happens that because yesterday's video was the very first Watercolor Sunday Fun Day Live, it was open to all Patreon members, or really anyone who wanted to watch it. Um, because if you went to the page, it was actually open to the public. But moving forward, our Watercolor Sunday Fun Day lives will be exclusively a part of the Creation Station because that is another perk that was added to show my appreciation to those people who truly hold the line and support the Defiant Art community. All right, so let me show you what we did. We talked about a few things. I introduced a couple of watercolor sets that would be good for beginners. We talked about paper that will be good for beginners. And then we actually did a watercolor illustration that was centered sort of around the holiday. I try not to, as you guys know, I try not to get too religious or political on my art channel just because I don't want to offend anyone. And I know I have viewers that come from all different backgrounds, all different races, all different religions, and everybody is welcome here. So I always try to keep my content what we call copacetic. That way I don't offend anyone. However, yesterday we did kind of stick to a somewhat holiday-ish theme and we painted a well, I'm not gonna say an Easter bunny, but we painted a bunny. And it was so much fun. I really had a lot of fun kind of walking through the steps that I took in order to create our little bunny here. Now, as you guys know, I'm more of a landscape. still life slash flower artist. Um, I know, and I've been talking about growing both with animals and with portraits. Now, I've tried a few animals and I'm starting to incorporate more and more of those into the channel, which is why I decided to go ahead and do the bunny. And I love him. He's so adorable. I think he's so adorable. I think he came out kind of cute. The effect that we got from the credit card scraper to give the indication of the hair worked really well. And this is actually Strathmore 400 series, 140-pound cold press acid free paper, watercolor paper to be specific. Um, so everything used in that first video was super economical, and I feel like we had a lot of fun. So if you are a part of the Thrifty Patreon community, whether you are a free member or a member of the Creation Station, you will have access to that video. Or if you happen to run across the link on another social site, you will have access to that video. But moving forward, I'm starting the next Watercolor Sunday Fun Day video. It will be exclusive for Creation Station members. That brings me to us having a pre-recorded video coming out this Wednesday. So in about 2 days, it's going to be the full-time Just Keep Painting um, pre-recorded tutorial for the Creation Station, and it'll be a time lapse here on YouTube. And we are going to be experimenting, and we're going to create this blueberry slushy. Yeah, I know. Where did the blueberry slushy come from? The subject matter is pretty simple. The techniques we're going to use, maybe much. Hopefully, we're still here. If the video went away for a second, I do apologize. Um, if there was a little interruption in that, I thought I had do not disturb on, but it turns out it wasn't. So hopefully it catches back up. So this is what we're going to be working on. And as I was saying, the techniques that we're using is going to be pretty unusual because we're going to be mixing some type of marker with gouache. In my case, alcohol markers with gouache, but you don't have to use it. So if you're interested in doing a really cute, really fun mixed media project, do check out this upcoming Wednesday's video. And we won't have a Friday release this week because, as you guys know, typically only one video a week. But for the last 2 weeks, I did release videos on Friday because I needed to catch up with doing product reviews. And that's typically what Friday is going to be about. All right, moving on. I have a birthday coming up. I have a birthday coming up, and I'm super excited. May 6th will be my birthday, and I did go ahead and place for the first time in almost 2 years, sort of a mini art haul order, just so I could get myself some stuff for my birthday and make myself feel all good things. You know what I mean? So one of the items have not come in yet. Unfortunately, I was hoping it was going to get here yesterday so that I could show it to you today, but it didn't. So I can show it to you in a future video. But here are the items that did come in. I finally picked up the 18 pencils, multi-talented pencil set by Stabilo. Now, I've heard so many things about the Woody 3-in-1s. There are some really mixed reviews across YouTube about them. Some people love them, some people not so much. But you know, Thrifty, I'm going to give them a whirl, try them out, and see what I think. And I'm hoping that they are as good as most people say that they are, so that I can have a product to extend my watercolor crayon collection. So, very excited about those. I also picked up a pack of Paul Rubens 48 count oil pastel, and some blending tools to go with them just to make my oil pastel life easier. Now, this is one of the few oil pastel sets that I know that come with light fast information and pigment information for the product. So I'm really excited about that. And I picked up some blending tools. These things are sold to accompany oil pastel, and they can be pretty expensive if you get them on the art side. But I found these um, on the cosmetic side of things, these are like nail art tools, and they literally look and feel the exact same as the tools that's sold for blending oil pastels. So I picked up a box of those. It comes two sets. I don't even need two sets. I don't. I definitely don't need two sets. So maybe I'll give one set of those away with a set of oil pastels in an upcoming future giveaway. So those are the three items that came in so far. I do have I'm sorry, two additional items coming in. I have uh, Niji artist wax crayons coming that I ordered, and then I also found gouache paint sticks, and that's the item that I'm most excited about getting here. Both of those packages will be here a little bit in the future, but both before my actual birth date. So I'm really, really excited about that. Um, so you can look forward to seeing some of those things coming up in the future. We are moving into, and I'm so excited, the swatching of the H.Schmincke and Company watercolor set. So this is a cute little travel watercolor set that came into the studio. I want to say about a month and a half ago at this point, maybe a little bit longer. And at the time, we were testing the student grade paints. And I don't know if you guys remember those. Um, it just so happens that they're sitting right on top of my travel palette box. So a couple of maybe a month back, a couple of weeks back, I don't know how long ago it was. We tested and reviewed the Schmincke Akademie Aquarell watercolor paints. This was such an adorable little tin that had some amazing, amazing paint quality paints in it for this to be a student grade paint. But it's legacy brand. And I've heard other artists talk about how close in relation these paints are to the actual professional ones. So I'm super excited to be trying out the professional level today. So the back of the box, let's see if I can read this tiny writing. Um, it says retro line. Oh, nope, that's not English. Hold on. Here we go. Retro line is a revival of historical Horadam watercolors that were once used for beautiful watercolor painting. Horadam Aquarell, finest artist watercolors in best quality. There's a little color swatch over here to the side. Everything else is in another language. It gives you Schmincke's address from the looks of it, a website, email, telephone number, and I guess maybe the box is made from recycled papers. Yeah, and that's pretty much all of the information. There are 8 half pans included into this set. Yeah, so let's crack them open here. Look at this cute, gorgeous little tin. Now, I've seen many tins like this. Most of them that I've seen are sort of like the canteen style. They have the spout here because the bottom part holds water and the lid comes off and works as a water cup if you're travel painting. But this one is a little different, a little bit more streamlined and straightforward. There's no canteen or water cup attached. There's a little ring on the bottom for. I never use this. I wonder, does anybody ever use these? I'm very curious because most artists I know don't, but I'm just curious to know, is there anyone out there who uses these? I never stick my finger through that, even if I'm outside painting. Never. Um, very sturdy, heavyweight metal, black tin, much more, just much more substantial than the average tins you get. Let's pop that open. It definitely latches really well. Got some, what do we have here? What is this? Uh, yes. Thank you for being a part of our history. Is that what this says? I guess that's what this says in German because there's a little English translation there. Okay. And then there is a little fold out. Okay, it's a swatching sheet. How cute. Isn't that adorable? There's a little swatching sheet included for you to carry along inside your little tin. I guess we'll put paint on that today as well. Instructions on, okay, so then there's some instructions here on how to swatch, which we don't need. We all have our own method of doing that, don't we? Let's see what colors are included. Can we, trying to see, we should be able to remove the inside. Have to be able to in order for me to take the wrapper off the paint. Now, hold up, Mr. Postman. How do I get this out? Ah, okay. Gotcha. So the entire tray doesn't come out. It has a little lip that you pull off the side that's holding the pans in. Sort of a piece of spring metal almost. That's very unique. Now I gotta remember the way those were in there. There was the yellow, the blue. Well, we're gonna reorder them then. Let's pull this side out. It's really unique. I've never seen that before. Let's take a look and see what we have. We have several different colors. Let's just open them up and go ahead and start to get them panned. Here we have a raw umber. The wrapper does show the name. Is that a star rating? Let's see. Yes, so it has the name for the color, the light fast rating is on here. The pigment number, this one is PY43 for their raw umber. And I love the fact that it's a raw umber in here. Let you know it conforms to the ASTM D4236 regulation and that is made in Germany. That writing is so small. I almost need a magnifying glass to see what's on these pens. And then there looks to be transparency stamp. So I guess if you were swatching these and you didn't want to write any of the information, it's all on the wrapper. So just be careful unwrapping your pens and you can just transfer the wrapper to your swatch sheet versus having to write all that information out. So I'm just going to be careful with my wrappers here. So I can put these on the big swatch sheet that we do to test to see if any of these granulate. And on the side of the pen, there seems to be some information for identifying the pen. Let's see if that matches the number for the color. Yes, so I guess if you needed to, you can go to their website and find color references if you just had the pen and you lost the information, because the color number is printed on the side of the pen. So that's pretty helpful. So we have a raw umber. Next here we have, oh my goodness, Payne's Gray. And this is a three-color mixture. We will talk about the pigments when we actually swatch them out. I hope this isn't boring. I was really excited about these paints and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm going to try to move through this part as quickly as possible. So we have Payne's Gray. That'll go behind our umber. Kind of put them in order as we go. And then we have, oh my goodness, English Venetian Red. English Venetian Red. So what's the difference? Can somebody tell me? Because I've only known of Venetian Red versus. So do they just drop English from Venetian Red on a regular basis, or is this actually a different hue? Or maybe this is just the name that Schmincke gives their English Red. That's gonna go before raw umber. I may change that. Here we have chrome yellow hue lemon. Okay, well, it indicates that it's a hue. I know a lot of professional paints are going towards hues versus any colors or any pigments that may be considered toxic, which is a little crazy to me because there's warnings on all of the paints. And I hope there's nobody around here just dropping half pans in their tea and mixing it up like sugar. I mean, crazier things have happened, I guess. Next up, we have vermilion. So it's a warm red in the set, a more orange leaning red, actually. So it'll be interesting to see what color mixtures we're going to get. I'm more of a cool red person when it comes to mixing. I just think you get a better variety of more deeply saturated colors, but that's just a personal opinion. So vermilion, what blue do we have? At least we have an ultramarine, yes. And I can imagine that this is going to granulate beautifully because their ultramarine in their student grade set granulated beautifully. Ultramarine here. So we have primary mixing, which is wonderful. We have a yellow ochre. Okay, see, and this is what I was wondering. Now they gave us a yellow ochre and a raw sienna both in the same set, so this should be interesting. I'll put that right after my. There's quite a few yellow tones in here. We've had a chrome yellow hue lemon, we have a yellow ochre, and we have a raw sienna. Interesting, interesting. And last but not least, we have a viridian. Is this? Oh, it's a true viridian. It's PG-18. Nice. I just knew it was going to be PG-7. That's so cool. Now, true viridian, PG-18, in most professional sets has granulation to it. That's why I was excited about it being a PG-18. I've been putting together a granulating watercolor set for a while, as you guys, some of you may already know. Um, and I've kind of gone through all of the tube paints I have here in the studio from the sets and found other colors that granulate beautifully that I'm going to be adding to that set. So we will be doing that in an upcoming video and then using those new colors along with the old ones to paint us an illustration. I'm swatching on, what is this? I'm going to swatch in the color diary. But because I want to test the paints to see if any of them are going to granulate, I'm going to also be swatching on Paul Rubens 140-pound cold press paper. I'm down to the last few sheets of this block. Unfortunately, it seems to have a sizing issue. Let's see. When I open this, I want my colors to go this way. So we'll do yellow, red. Nope, switched it up. We're gonna go rainbow order. We're gonna go red, yellow, cream, and blue on this side. We'll let those, and this should just snap them right in. Nice. All right. And then on this side, we will do yellow ochre, English red, raw umber, and what was this? Payne's gray. So at least they didn't try to shove a black and a white into what was only an 8 color palette. Pretty cool. And you have another a room here to add another 4 pans, which is really cool. So you can expand this to be a 12 color. And if so, maybe you have some other colors that you feel. And if these are close to the Academy paints, um, let's see, I'm just going off on an experiment tangent here. Because if these paints are close enough and they can work well in conjunction enough, I may pull, because that olive green in this set is beautiful. So I may pull some of these colors out and kind of augment this little travel set, although this is a travel set in itself. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's get things set up here and get this monkey on the road. Looks like I'm gonna be swatching 3 times because I definitely want to do. Now, see, they have this in a certain order here, and we're gonna be changing it definitely to the order we have. I'm gonna pre-wet these off to the side. I'm not sure that you have to, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it for right now. I love this little palette. Love, love this little palette. We will swatch with a golden Teclon. Do I have a golden Teclon flat I want to use? Let's just go with the 1/4 inch dagger. Why not? All right. I'm gonna check the comment section real quick. Let's see here. What do we have going on? I would take a pic with my phone. Oh, take a pic with your phone to be able to read the pans. Yeah, I have a magnifier on my phone, but it's actually on the phone that I'm doing the live with, so I just kind of struggle with it. Um, Hello, Taylor. Welcome, friend. Is it magnetic? It is cute and little, Nicole. Is it magnetic? Probably. Wait a minute. What do I do with it? Do I have my other phone around? I was looking to see if I had my. Oh, I have some magnets in my drawer. Let's see. I don't know if I would call. Well, yeah, it is. It's magnetic. It sure is. Or magnet to stick to it. I don't know if there's a magnet on it. Let me see. Let me find a 10. What did I do with? Let's see. Okay, so it's not magnetic itself, but of course you can stick a magnet on it. All right, let's get this monkey on the road. We're gonna start off with. Let me get my little bubble palette and clean this up real quick. Give it just 1 second. Spray that down and clean up some of these wells. Keep me some paper towels handy. This is where I was doing the little slushy. I had so much fun doing that thing. It was so weird. The thing about it is when you start experimenting and kind of doing a technique you've never done before, it's hard to tell when it's finished. You don't really want to overwork it. And even if you watch tutorials, here's the things about watching tutorials. Watching and doing are two different things. It can be made to look so easy by someone else, right? Okay, so we're going to start off with swatching the vermilion. Let's put that in one of the bigger whales here. And I'm going to eventually come back and put glazing on these. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful vermilion, though. Jeez. Really warm color. All right, let's get our swatch here. And this is watercolor paper. It's a really thin watercolor paper, but at least it's an actual watercolor paper that they put in for the swatching sheet, which is very helpful. So that you can have a good indication of what your colors are. Keep in mind, I always suggest that you swatch out all your water soluble products because unlike dry media, water soluble products can look different once the water is applied. I'm just going to hopefully not get the swatching, I mean, the part of the paper that has a sizing issue with doing this. I'm going to make a big watery swatch here. And more than likely, the vermilion is not going to granulate. We have some movement there. Look at that. So we do have some blossoming. There's definitely some movement with the paint. And that's a big, nice, watery swatch there. Add a little more water to that. Just so we can see if there's going to be any granulation. And this paper has a little texture to it, so we're definitely going to have to pay close attention once it dries to see if it's true granulation. Of course, I don't expect any like flocculation or anything like that. I mean, these are Schmincke paints, but we're definitely going to see if we have granulation. Next, we're going to swatch out the yellow here. So the vermilion red is PR255 single pigment. Beautiful vermilion red in all honesty. Next, we have what was this? The chrome yellow lemon hue. It is PY 175. So pretty common, stable yellow pigment used in this one. It does say hue, so more than likely it's a substitute. Because PY 175 synthetic? I'm not sure. Can't remember right off the top of my head. But your standard lemon yellow looking color, very clean, single pigment. And I'm going to assume that the ultramarine blue is single pigment PP29. So this little travel set already has a leg up due to the fact that the three primaries in the set are single pigment colors, which is outstanding. I'm going to put down another big swatchy guy here, fill it full of water. Yes, and I understand I'm putting down quite a bit of water each time because I want to give the paints plenty of room to move. Oh, okay, that yellow moves nicely. So far, we have some flow going on. I'm not sure whether either one of these will granulate, but we definitely have flow. Vibrant, saturated colors, single pigment. Okay, I like that. We're going to move on to the next color, which is the Viridian Green. And Viridian Green is, as I said earlier, the PG18. So this is true Viridian. And hopefully this one might have some granulation to it. It just depends on how Schmincke formulates their paints. I think I heard someone tell me one time that Schmincke paints are actually pretty uniform and flat. Um, Although they use true pigments. I don't know how true that is, but I can tell you right now, just from that little swatch, that green is gonna have, it's gonna have some granulation. It's gonna be pretty. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. Let's see. Now, of course, if you don't have granulating paints and you want your paints to granulate, most sets do use PB29 for the ultramarine, and PB29 is a granulating pigment. You can use it to mix other colors, which of course will then have that granulating property. You can even use salt water to enhance the granulating property of pigments that might just have a small granulation to them. So, um, there are many different ways to get your paints to kind of act the way you want them to. All right, let's see here. Let's get this full of pigment and kind of water down just a bit. The Viridian moves too. You would think that I had granulation medium in that. Look at that. Sorry, got a little excited. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge Viridian fan. I'm more of a sap green fan, but this Viridian is single pigment, is super clean. And actually it started to granulate time I put it into. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, that's so nice. That's so nice. I'm having a nerd moment. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. That's just, I just want to. Oh, okay. So anything that you mixed from the Viridian is definitely gonna granulate. That is so pretty. All right, let's move on. Let me stop playing with it. Hello, Marianne. How are you? Welcome in, friend. It's good to see you today. All right, next we're moving on to the ultramarine blue. Again, I'm going to expect granulation from this one, especially considering how that Viridian granulated. Oh my goodness, so gorge. Oh, this ultramarine is beautiful, very clean. This is a PB29. I better be able to tell you that without looking at the wrapper. But just in case, by some twist of irony and fate, let's just take a look. PB29 single pigment. Okay, so let me look at what would be probably what I know would be really light fast. So I'm going to assume that the 5 star is the most light fast of them. And then it kind of goes down. You have 4 stars, 3 stars. I don't see anything that's 2 stars. So it's going to be my assumption that all these paints rate from very good to excellent on a light fast star scale. Um, I had somebody tell me something interesting the other day. I can't remember who it was. They left it on in the comment section of one of the videos, and I knew that in some products they did it this way, but I wasn't sure about all products. But when it comes to watercolor pencils, did you know that the light fast testing is actually done on the dry pigment versus um, being done on the wet pigment for a watercolor pencil? Now, of course, we all know that and this is one reason that when I run across a person that really doesn't care about pigment information and light fast information, I completely understand where they're coming from. Because the truth of the matter is the way the market is set up is a little deceiving. Most pigments are tested outside of being water soluble. When you actually add water to a paint, you are diluting it, and the pigment strength is never going to be as strong as it is when it's tested with a light fast. Oh, look at that. Look at the beautiful granulation. Okay, let's put more water there. Let's put more water there and let's put more pigment there. Look at the disbursement. They flow so well. I'm gonna have fun with these paints. I think I have a contender for a replacement in my top 5 watercolor, professional watercolor. This is beautiful. I would love to try more of these paints just from swatching these. All right, moving on. We have yellow raw ochre. Yellow raw ochre. Okay, yellow raw ochre. This is a mix. This is PY42 and PY43. Now, what's funny about that is depending on the set, you'll find that a lot of sets commonly use PY42 as the standard pigment for yellow ochre. Some more budget sets I've seen using PY43 single pigment, but this says yellow raw ochre and it has both the PY42 and the PY43. So it's going to be interesting to see if that has any granulation because PY42 is a earth pigment, and it tends to have a little granulation to it sometimes. So we'll see here. Let's. Seems a little weak. It might have just been my doing. It could be user error. So I'm gonna just come straight from the pen with it. It's a nice color. It's not as loud as I thought it was gonna be. More on the subtle side. It'll be interesting to see how it dries from the glazing layer, and whether or not it'll leave any sedimentation on the little black line. I mean, because they tend to yellow ochre tends to be a more opaque color. Yeah, I think there's going to be granulation there too. Okay, I'm excited about this set. I am. And I do these big swatch sheets so I can have them. And I'm definitely going to start doing them more so that I can have them to refer back to when we're doing reviews, when we're doing comparison. But the real reason, or one of the main reasons, is as I started to put together this granulation palette, being able to see the colors that actually, oh, yes, being able to see the colors that actually granulate in a really small swatch is sort of hard. And I know granulation isn't for everyone, but I personally happen to like granulating paints. And I always tell you guys that no matter who you follow, no matter what they like, no matter what they love, use what you like, what you love, what complements your painting style the best. Um, because everything isn't for everybody. I have artists on YouTube that I follow and I watch who I respect, but I don't always agree with everything I hear them say. And I definitely don't find that everything that works for them works for me. So it's all about experimenting and figuring out what works the best for you. All right, let's move on. We're gonna swatch the next one here, and this is the English Venetian Red. It is single pigment. I put my head in the camera. I'm sorry if I did. It is single pigment PR 101, which is kind of a standard pigment for Venetian red. At least they didn't say it was burnt sienna and used PR 101 versus PBR 7. So, okay. Okay, Schmincke. I'm with you, friends. I'm with you. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness. It's so easy. Oh my goodness, that's pretty. Look how rich and bricky red. I hope you guys can see how rich that is. That's pretty amazing. And it looks like it also has some heavy, well, it's a Venetian red, so it definitely has heavier pigment in it, but it might also offer a little texture. We will see in just a second when we get to our bigger swatch. Excuse me. So I'm going to be continuing my paint stick journey when I get off live. Some of you may know already, some of you don't. You'll be hearing it for the first time, but I've started to make like these homemade sort of oil pastel slash oil sticks. I kind of the recipe came from a combination of something that I saw several different YouTube artists do, including Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. And I had to figure out what I had in my studio and what recipe I could come up with that A wouldn't put toxic fumes anywhere and would be easy for me to make. And I made a couple of oil sticks or oil pastel sticks, whatever you want to call them. So far, I've done an orange, a yellow, and a purple. And I finally got what I need to kind of round that off. I'm going to be adding two greens a blue, which more than likely is going to be ultramarine, two greens, a blue, a true red, definitely a white, maybe even two whites, because we're talking like oil slash pastel sticks here. Um, oh, look at that. And definitely a black. So I have a little work to do to finish that little set off, and then I'm going to do a practice painting in the background with them before I try to do anything on camera with them, because I want to see how they work and whether it's something that was even worth my time or worth suggesting or talking about with you guys. Okay, I am impressed, my friends. It is very, very seldom that you will hear me say I'm impressed with a paint just from the swatching. I will normally tell you you have to give me time to use these paints because they swatch well doesn't mean that they'll perform well in actual field testing. But yeah, I will not say that at all about these. This has been pretty phenomenal. I can see these being used very easily with the student grades. All right, next up we're swatching raw umber, and we have ourselves a PY43. So both of the yellow earth tones are using basically the same pigments. I like raw umber more than I like yellow ochre. I believe that raw umber is more transparent. And with raw umber, it normally comes single pigment, whereas yellow ochre can be single pigment or mixed. It just depends on the brand. That's going to have texture to it as well. So all of the earth pigments in this set has a little texture to it. So yeah, you actually have yourself a granulating set here, truth be told. And this is not like a purposeful granulating set. This just goes to show you that you don't necessarily always have to go out and spend bukus of money on a set that specifically advertises that it granulates. Because odds are you have pigments in paints that you have already that granulate. Um, and you can easily mix those colors yourselves. Um, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute. Let's get through watching this. Let's see how this one is going to move. Let's put down quite a water swatch there. We'll grab some paint and some water. Make sure we have enough pigment in that. Okay, so as you can see, all of them have beautiful flow to them. That's crazy. Schmincke, yeah, okay, okay. This set may purposely be curated for like, didn't it say it was curated for something specific? Um, I'm gonna have to look again. I feel like this is specifically curated for landscapes. I mean, all of these colors that granulate and have this texture and pigment to it, the earth tones are super, super textured. So yeah, I feel like this is almost, and it would make sense. It's in a little travel palette for you to be painting on the go. So yeah, I can see this. All right, let's see here. And we're swatching the last. Is it the last one? Oh my goodness, it is. I was having fun. I didn't realize it. The last one we have a Payne's Gray. Now, this is the only triple pigment mixture in this set. It is made up of PR 101, which is Venetian red, It's made up of PB29, which is ultramarine blue, and it's made up. Oh my goodness, what is that? PBK7. What's PBK7? Ivory black. So this should granulate. This should granulate as well. So excited. I could stick this whole set inside my granulating palette. Jeez. Oh, that's so inky and pretty. Wait. Oh, and you guys know I love, 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 love myself a good Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is one of my favorite colors. Oh, look at that. It's so inky without being black. Oh, I love that. Let's swatch that bigger. Let's get to swatching that bigger. Let me do this one real quick. Just so I have a little color reference chart inside my palette. Now I guess if I wanted to, since I have that extra swatching area down there, I could probably do some secondary color mixtures and just kind of swatch them out and write down what pigments I use to mix them so I know how to come up with those mixtures really quick. That might be a decent idea. I'm gonna check the comment section in just a second. We'll see where we are on time, and if we have enough time, we will start playing around with mixing them. Maybe I'll do a quick little silhouette landscape or something just to kind of test them out real quick. You guys will have to jump in the comment section and let me know if that's something you want to see. Because I know we did just advertise swatching the paints today. That's gorgeous. I can see these being beautiful for flower illustrations too, especially patella. Well, I don't know. I guess you kind of want a little bit less texture with botanicals, but man, oh man, this would make these are going to make beautiful like lakes, rivers, oceans. Oh, I just love the way. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing with it. I am. I'm gonna go back and I don't normally go back and glaze these because this is actually testing for granulation. Let's go over here and do a super big flow test. We'll go ahead and do the flow test where we're just gonna drop paint in and see how it moves, how it mixes, whether they're gonna make clean colors as they mix on the paper. And we're gonna make this block really big and wet here. And I'm probably gonna wet it more than once just to make sure we have enough water on our surface. Now, this is a cellulose paper. It's not going to be sized as heavy as, say, like a 100% cotton arches or like a 100% Hunter Mule or anything like that. So it's going to be more absorbent or absorb the water quicker from the surface than one of those will. So I'm going to make sure I put down plenty of water because I want that to be wet enough for this test to make sense. All right, let's go ahead and grab, let's start with this lemon. Let's go in this corner. We're just gonna drop them in, see how it flows. Let's go with this vermilion. Okay, so note to self, there's no need to pre-wet these paints. You're actually gonna make them kind of sticky on the top if you do. They reactivate super well. So next time, once these dry out, the surface of them dry, and I paint with them again, I won't be pre-wetting them. There's no need. Look at all the gorgeous pigment on the paper and in the palette. Look at it. It'll be a beautiful picture just like that. So moderate flow to them. It really just depends on how wet the The consistency of the water on your surface versus the consistency of the water in your brush when you're actually doing a test like this. I think I have just as much water in my brush as I do on my paper. So, but even with that, you're getting some moderate movement of flow with the paints. We saw from the swatching how if you do it right, they're definitely going to flow really well. Just curious. Let's drop some blue in that purple. See what I mean in the red. See what tone of violets we can get from that. Let's go back and drop some red in those yellows and see what happened. Let's go with some green inside the ultramarine. Oh, I like that. Green inside the ultramarine. That's cool. Oh, that's me dropping green inside the green. Get your life together, can you? Supposed to be dropping it inside the blue. All right, let's go with one of these earth colors. Let's try this raw umber. I really like this color. It's a pretty color. Let's drop it inside some of this green. Well, it looks like they're mixing on the paper pretty well too. They have a decent flow to them. Really clean colors. Nothing has blended into mud, even with me dropping those heavier earth pigments into them. Let you guys take a better look, closer look at that. So definitely some very interesting paints we have here. That swatching phase actually went pretty well. Um, I'm definitely going to go back and glaze the paints. Let's see, have they dried enough for me to glaze? I think they have. So I'm going to go ahead and glaze them while I'm on camera with you guys. More than likely, we'll have a, we're, oh, and more than likely, we'll definitely have a video coming up super soon using these. Let me check the comment section. Like I said, if you guys are interested in seeing me doing a little quick painting with them, we are only an hour in. I'll do a quick like silhouette painting with them if that's what you guys wanted to see. Um, let's see here. Nicole said this, the tins seemed to be magnetic when you were putting them in. Well, no, it didn't. There was no, they're like, there's not a magnet on the pan or anything. The green with the yellow ochre would be an amazing cat's eye. Okay, why not test innocent? Let's put in a little viridian. What's gonna happen if we mix it with a little yellow ochre? It's a beautiful color, Nicole. That would be a nice cat's eye. I would have to agree with you. So definitely mixable, blendable colors. Very pretty. And now that's going to have granulation to it because both those colors have some texture in them. What were we doing? We were glazing really quick. Let's glaze real quick because I want to know opacity here. And I already have enough color on my palette to go ahead and get this done. So we'll glaze over these real quick. Nicole, have a good one. See you tonight in Creation Station. I figure out what we're doing over there tonight in Creation Station. I have it together. Oh, I already know what we're doing. What am I talking about? All right, let's glaze the ultramarine. These are glazing nicely. Um, Saturation bills. Looks like I can see the previous layer through it, which we can really test it out in just a second. But the colors are definitely gorgeous. Definitely gorgeous. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with these paints. They're so clean. I definitely need to find something very realistic to try to paint with them just to see how they layer. So I may go on a little excursion. We may end up using these paints tonight in the creation station. I'm that excited about them. Yeah, they are beautiful, Marianne. They are very nice paints. Very, very nice paints. I am very impressed, and it is very rare that I'm impressed from just watching paints. Oh, I love that raw umber. It's so clean. And then let's glaze the paints gray as well. That paint is gray. It's almost black. It's very dark. It dries kind of, well, let's see what it looks like after it glazes. Let me not say that yet. But it's rather opaque. It really is. Okay. So I'll transfer the information to this swatching sheet a little bit later. I'll also transfer the information to the big swatching sheet a little bit later as well. But what I want to do is just real quick while I have you guys here. Let's kind of let's see what happens with actual glaze of color. We'll do yellow, I mean red, yellow, we'll do the ultramarine. And the consistency of my paint here is sort of like skim milk. It's not super watery, but it's nowhere near thick anyway. Okay, and then we're going to go back and glaze those colors on top of themselves as soon as they're dry. Let's see, is this dry? Not quite. It's almost dry. It's almost dry. We'll do a little glazing in just a second. But yes, 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 friends, Schmincke Horadam. I was impressed with the. Okay, so let's just talk about this right quick while we're waiting on that to dry. Now, these are a very beautiful paint. So I don't think that there's a huge difference between the price. I'm just gonna, cause see, the only place to really get Schmincke paints, it just depends. You can get Schmincke. I mean, you can get them Amazon. I think you can get them. I'm pretty sure you can get them with Jerry's. I'm pretty sure you can get them with Blick. Pretty sure you can probably get them with Jackson's Art. So depending on where you are, my suggestion is that you shop around. Um, but you know, just right off, these paints, this one particular 10 pops you for about 59 bucks on Amazon. So even their student grade paint is not necessarily cheap by any definition. However, these are so high quality that if you happen to get your hands on these, you know, I say you've won. The most appealing thing about this little set to me was the 10. The 10 is so freaking different that I just like had to have it. But $59 is pretty steep for like a student grade paint. Again, I will say shop around, definitely shop around. But if you're going to put $59 on the student grade version, then throwing a couple of extra dollars on there and just stepping up to the professional version, even if you're only getting like a mixing set that may have only like four or five or six colors, or for instance, this mixing set only has 8 colors in it. Um, let's just see how much that may cost. What are those things called? They're called bijou, not bijou boxes. Schmincke. Let me just see if I can find that really quickly for you. Because you guys know I like giving real time information. Let me see if I can find that little box. Okay, so just kind of throwing out some prices. Now, like I said, $59 for this 10. You can get a 12 set in the regular Schmincke 10 of Horadam paints for 76.85. So that's only like maybe about 20 bucks more. And you'll actually be getting 12 professional paints versus the student grade. Um, they're not cheap now. Okay, here. Oh, okay. So I did find this little box. Now, this Horadam small color box with 8 finest watercolors. Oh no, now the one I'm looking at on Amazon has the water tank in the little cup that goes on it. Now that one on Amazon is running about 85 bucks. So I'm trying to find this one without the water tank on it. And I just happened to jump to Amazon first because it was already up on my screen. But of course, by the time we get to the review, I will have done much more in-depth research and be able to tell you where you may be able to pick this up at several different places across some different price ranges. I want to say Amazon is typically the cheapest place when you're talking about buying sets of anything. So it's my fear that going over to Jerry's and looking that price up might hurt our feelings. You know, it might hurt our feelings a little bit. But let's see. Oh, okay. So what was the price over on Amazon? Like 84. Well, no, that was for the canteen set. We didn't find this set. We found this set, which is $59. Um, let's see, H.Schmincke. Okay, Schmincke Horadam. I have to be careful because they got like super granulating sets and all these different things. Okay, watercolor pans and sets. That's what I'm looking for. Now let's see if I can find this little. Okay, so the one like this with the canister on it is 89.99 on Jerry's. It was 84.99 over on Amazon. Amazon always seems to be just a few dollars cheaper for some reason when it comes to the sets. Although anything sold by Jerry's on Amazon would still be coming from Jerry's, which I think is kind of strange. Okay, so I found this one. The Retro Line Metal Box Set of 8. This, oh my goodness, this one is 75.29. So when you compare that, I mean, I guess here for $59, you're getting 12 half pans of paint, and most of these were single pigment as well. And here you're getting 8 half pans of paint uh, for about 75 bucks plus tax. So that's about what I'm just going to round it off to about a $20 price difference. I personally think that I'm going to save my recommendation on that to the review to have a chance to swatch those paints side by side. just so I can recall again the exact quality of these. I know that they're good, but I want to compare them side by side before I tell you, hey, I don't think it's worth it, or I do believe that it's worth it to, throw on 20 additional dollars, maybe to step up to the professional line. And all of that, again, will depend on what set you get, the number of colors that's in the set, and where you get it from. So always keep that in mind. All right, let's glaze this real quick. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. I don't think no I saw anyone say anything about wanting to see a silhouette painting of these. So yeah. Uh, Marianne said your set is 80. Yeah, that's about the range it's in. It's interesting. um, I am blessed enough to have a lot of products sponsored to um, the studio for this very purpose of being tested and reviewed for anyone who wants to watch and who wants to see. Which is why you guys see me trying to give back so much, because I realize that I am super blessed. I mean, seriously, a $80 set of paints. Come on. So, I mean, and that's not a brag. That's just me pointing out the fact that I understand that it takes the world to make my world go round. I really appreciate every single thing. Okay, I want to glaze. Let's go down with a strip here. We're gonna go. Ooh, look at how. Oh, that. Oh, oh, beautiful. That green, that ultramarine, and that yellow mixed right away was gorge. All right, let's do the red, and then we will do an ultramarine strip over here on the end. And then we will take a look at the glazing. I'm gonna hold it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, so let's look at this glazing here. Nice. You can see the previous layer, the first layer through each glaze. And you can see how the glaze slightly changed the hue in the color. So even though the paint on the bottom was dry, the wet paint reactivated it enough for you to get a little color blending on the actual paper. My friends, this is good paint. These are good paints. I can tell you that now without, I don't know if I even want to do a review of these paints. I just want to paint with them. Um, they glaze really nicely. And I can tell from that little glazing test that once I actually do get to the specific color mixing test, it's gonna go well. So there you have it, my friends. Hopefully, somewhere, somehow, some way through the course of all that you've seen today, you found something helpful, something useful, or something that is piquing your interest to come on back over and follow along to see where we go with these Schmincke paints just a little bit more. There will definitely be field testing coming up for these paints, so you can look forward to a pre-recorded release using them in the next week or half or so. Um, I'm more than likely going to be trying to incorporate these paints into what I do tonight over in the creation station right away to test their ability in mixed media. So if you're a part of the creation station, you can definitely join tonight at 8 p.m. for our regularly scheduled Monday live. And you may get to see those in use. And then I'm going to do some comprehensive testing where I actually swatch them out color for color against the Academy. We'll look at the pigments in each one, the stability of those pigments, and then ultimately a review will be put together where we'll bring all this information together in one video, one-stop shop, where you'll be able to get my complete overview of the Schmincke Horadam. What's the line called? Hold on. We want to be specific. This is the retro line 8 color set. Yes. Yes. So my friends, if you have been here and you have enjoyed anything that you saw, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up by sprinkling a little love. It is going to help push that out there in the ethers so that other people who gravitate towards us and our type of art can find us. If you choose to, please share the video. That's another way of reaching the masses. I really appreciate it. We are up to over 2,500 subscribers at this point. Many of those subscribers have come in like the last year and a half, and some of you are super active in the chats, in the lives, in the pre-recorded videos. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough for your participation, um, and just being a part of the thrifty art world. I said I make a joke all the time. I'll be like, they like me, they really like me. Oh, come on, you guys know I wouldn't care. Um, Birds of a feather flock. So I'm very happy that you all have found this art community. Look forward to the pre-recorded video coming out this Wednesday, where we're going to be doing the mixed media project on Strathmore Tone Tan paper, which is a beautiful substrate to work on. We will not have a video coming out this Friday. Of course, I always announce whenever there will be a Friday video because that is not a normal release date. I do understand we had a video on Friday for the 2 previous weeks, but I don't have a review to catch up on at this particular point, so there won't be a video released this Friday. If you're part of the Creation Station, you can swing on over to Patreon and join in the live tonight at 8 p.m. If you are not a part of the Creation Station, I do believe I've already put the video, the link in the video description. If not, I will drop it after this is over with, or you can check any other video on the channel and find the link for Patreon. Give it a look over. You can join as a free member, which will give you access to a few things that goes public. But in order to get into the nitty gritty, all of the lives, all of the pre-recorded videos, access to the traceables, behind the scenes, and all those good things, you will have to join the Creation Station. So at least go check it out and see if it's something that suits your fancy. The video description will also have links to all the social sites. I tell you guys all the time, go ahead and join and go ahead and follow on Instagram. Go ahead and follow on Facebook, so that you can be a part of the interconnected community. Um, you can find the most recommended product list in the video description, and those are products that are tested and tried by myself here. Reviews are available on the YouTube channel, and they are very budget friendly, great quality, but won't break your pocket. So you might want to check some of those things out. All right, my friends, go out, enjoy the rest of your week. Patreon, I'll see you tonight. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, just keep creating, my friends. Bye.